Mind Detox Daily Thought with me, Joanna Hunter. We're on day 12. We've been zipping along really quick, and hopefully, these series of videos have made some sort of impact in your life and maybe changed your thinking in some way and helped you to switch tracks a little bit. And it's important to switch tracks if you're looking for different results. So, today's daily thought is: much of our suffering exists only in our thoughts. Now, I am not, with this statement or quote even, trying to belittle your problems or even indeed suggest that your problems aren't important, that they're all in your mind. But if we really think about this, it is true that most of our suffering is literally exists only in our thoughts, because the difficulties maybe that we're facing or going through is how we are thinking about something. If we have the attitude like, something that you perceive has gone wrong in your life, and you think, oh God, why did this happen to me? And, nobody else seems to get this, and the universe just seems to be totally intent on kicking my backside and all this. That's going to create much suffering in your mind. But another person could have exactly the same thing happen to them, and they have a different set of thoughts. And their thoughts are, okay, this has happened. I'm not really sure why, but I know that everything that the universe does for me is serving me in some way, and that perhaps this will lead on to something better and to something greater. And that therefore, whatever problem that they have in their lives that's exactly the same as the first person is dealt with in such a different way. And they don't have the suffering that the first person is dealing with. They don't have the suffering that is happening in the first person's life. What they're having instead is a very different reaction to the problem. And that reaction is all happening in their head. That reaction is all happening in their thoughts. And so therefore, I do put to you that much of our suffering exists only in our thoughts. And that if you are suffering, perhaps it's time to look at your thoughts and look at where your suffering lays, basically, and to start to see that, could I perhaps perceive these as being different? I'm going to tell you a little story from my own life. And I used to run shops, and they were successful, and but I put a lot of time and a lot of effort into those shops. And I became ill. I literally burnt myself out to the point that I was sick and tired, and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then when I made the transition from the shops into the work that I do now, I was started to recover, and I was doing really good, and my new business, my inner peace, was doing really well, and it was getting really busy. And all of a sudden I got gallbladder problems, and I started feeling really sick and really ill, and there was days that I had to spend in bed, and I was really tired. It really wiped me. And I thought, the kind of initial thought that I had was, oh God, why is this happening to me? Now I've just managed to get my life back on track, managed to move forward in some way, shape, or form, and I'm really loving my life right now, and this has happened. But I knew in the back of my mind that everything in my life is serving me, everything is leading me on to something better and bigger. So I set about trying to discover what my gallstones, for a better word, were doing. What I looked at my gallstones as my teachers, and I thought to myself, what are they teaching me? And at first nothing came. I was just in pain, and I was not feeling great, and I would have like flare-ups where I would be really ill and bedridden for a couple of days and stuff. And it was quite an active person. Like I'm I have lots of energy and stuff, so I like to kind of be about and running around and things like that. And I'm not really one of these people that likes to sit still. So it was very hard for me. And so the fact that these gallstones really kind of put me on my backside, I realized what the universe was trying to teach me. It was trying to teach me to rest. Because I'd had all these years where I had the shops where I'd run myself ragged. I'd become very proficient at lying to myself in the fact that I used to, on a daily basis, affirm, oh yeah, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's really good. And there was a part of me that totally believed that, but there was another part of me that kept going, oh my God, I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired. And I wasn't listening to that part of myself when I had the shops. And it wasn't until I came out of that that I began listening to that part of me a little bit more closer. So, of course, what I was realizing was that I was repeating the same cycle that had led to the point where I was really worn out in the shops. And I was doing exactly the same thing with my new business. And I was really starting to repeat these old patterns and these old habits, I suppose, more than anything. And I wasn't even aware that I was doing it because I was so passionate, and I still am very passionate about my business, but I didn't realize what I was doing was I was building a business that would be very, very dependent on me, and therefore I would get to a stage where I would be so busy that it would be such an inconvenience if I was ever sick or ill, or I would literally feel that I couldn't take a day off. And so my gallstones were these little gifts, I feel, from the universe that taught me so much. They taught me that rest is a spiritual practice, that rest is essential. They taught me that that I needed to honor myself more, and that I needed to have a more open and honest dialogue with myself. And they led to so many amazing discoveries within myself. But had I been fully within that kind of victim mindset of, oh my God, why is this happening to me? I would have missed all of those lessons. It wasn't until I stopped and I realized that everything in this universe is serving me to some extent. What was it? Everything is teaching me something. So everything is my teacher. And when I looked at this way of life or way of thinking, everything is my teacher, the lessons were revealed. And now I'm so thankful the fact that I went through that, because one of the things that I realized as well is, and one of the after effects is that, and a big thing that I'm a huge advocate of, which is to work smarter and not harder. And it is one of the gifts that my little gallstones brought me. So I love them. They were amazing little teachers, and I'm so grateful that I actually had that, and that they popped me on my backside and, caused worry and problems for myself. But it was a gift, an absolute gift. And when I changed my thinking, my suffering stopped and the lessons began, and I'm so grateful for them. So much of our suffering exists only in our thoughts. That was today's daily thought. This is the Mind Detox, 14 days of positivity. Give negativity the heave ho with me, Joanna Hunter, and you can subscribe at joannahunter.com. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.